In progress.
Hare Krishna. So this is Navneet, and I welcome you to Vyasa Astro channel. We have today a very special guest, Dr. Arjun Pai, with me. And Dr. Arjun Pai, namaskar. Uh,
Namaste, Navneet ji. It's such an honor to be here.
That pleasure is all mine. And ladies and gentlemen, this video is a very, very special video today. This video will cover my personal story, right, of suffering and how I came out of that suffering. And I'll share the details with you. Plus, we'll also discuss that how this karma theory works. There's a beautiful story that Dr. Pai would like to share here, and that is connected to mine. And also we'll talk about Sadasati, Dhaya, the remedies, and a little bit of Rudrakshas and gemstones, therapies. So stay connected till the end. This is going to be a very, very insightful video. So ladies and gentlemen, this story begins with, it's been 6 to 7 months that I was suffering from severe IBS. And usually the transits of the grahas, the planets give you that. And I am Mesha Lagna with Jupiter, Saturn in the 6th house, and Ketu was transiting over it. And I remember, Dr. Pai's one of his videos when he gave that Rahu Ketu, transition video in Virgo and Pisces. He said that whenever Ketu enters in the 6th house or Ketu enters Virgo in the Kalpurusha, it is going to give you bacterial infections in the stomach. He said in one of his videos, and which usually Ketu does in the 6th house. And it came, and we being, I'm being pure vegetarian and sattvic and try for home diets, but still, the planets are so strong that I went through that phase. So 3 months, 2 months of medication going on and off, and also got, very minor UTI also in between that time. So then, my wife, Nitika, she said that, Navneet, it's time that, you are looking at your own horoscope. Sometimes you may not connect the dots. So why don't you speak to, your divine friend, Dr. Pai, right? So, and he's been mentor, he's been a coach, he's been a guru, he's been a friend, he's been a brother. So I just messaged him, Dr. Pai, that, I want to connect with you. And probably in an hour, he was there. I said, okay, Navneet, let's connect. I mean, not even 24 hours, not even 10 hours. Within an hour, he said, okay, I'm connecting. And we met, and he shared a story. And that story was from one of his recent consultations that he did 2-3 days ago. And, he wanted me to go to Tirupati, right? And the story was also from the Tirupati. One of his clients who went through an IBS went through Tirupati. And I'll tell you what happened to me, after Dr. Pai tells what exactly was the scenario and how the karma was linked, and you will enjoy this. So Dr. Pai, it's all yours. And then I'll share what happened, what was my experience there, and then we'll take it forward from there. Dr. Pai, it's all yours.
Yeah. So I think, Navneet ji, whenever you had come and we had a discussion, I had done a consultation, probably 2-3 days before. And then I had a similar case where somebody who went through an IBS for 10 years. He was suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, and it was very severe. He couldn't eat outside. And his son also has the same problem, that his son is also going through the same problem. But he told me about an incident, because I asked, do you have any of these issues? He says, yes, I did have it. If I can remember, it was, he said, before 2019, for 10 years, he suffered from IBS for a very long time. And then he told me, but I have overcome from the IBS. And now I don't have any IBS, but my son has the same problem. So I asked him, okay, for the past 5 years that you have no IBS, what was the story? So he told me a story about how when he went to Tirupati and they were waiting in the queue to go inside the temple. And then he said somebody came and they were walking in the queue. So somebody came from behind before they entered into the temple. So somebody tapped on his shoulder and told about his personal story. He said, look, I've come here for the darshan. And, I and probably another family member, but we do not have any money to return back. Okay. And the second thing that this person also said is, I am staying in this ashram, which happened to be the ashram of this individual's guru that guru's ashram. He's where he is actually is in Tirupati, you have many such small ashrams for people who are visiting. So they give these rooms for them. So he said, I'm staying there. So first he was really surprised that this person is living in the ashram of the guru, his guru. And then he said, look, I don't have any money. Is there something that you can give me? So this person, he just put his hand in his pocket, in the shirt, and he came up with the, 500 rupees or whatever. So he said, how much do you need? So he gave 500. He said, look, for 2 tickets, we need some amount. I don't remember what amount he said. Maybe 690
Yes,
or something
600.
like that.
Said 600 rupees, 600 exactly.
Some 600, yeah, exactly. So then he again looked up and then he gave him that additional 100 or whatever. And by that time, what has happened? His son and his wife have in the queue, they have gone ahead and he was there behind, right? So he immediately looked up where his wife and his son were, and he went running to them and said, wait, 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 there was this guy. So I'm joining you guys. So as soon as he said, look, this is the guy that who I gave money to, and they looked behind and that person was not there. He had disappeared from there. And he says after that visit to Tirupati, his IBS was completely cured. That is what is the story. So because it was just 2 days or 3 days that I had done that, and when you came with the same, I said probably this is an indication for me. It's a nimitta, it's an omen, it's a shakun to actually tell you that you should be going to Tirupati.
Yeah.
Now it is over to you. Now
So,
you have to tell about
yeah.
what was
So, you know, see, friendship and mentorship is about that strong trust and blind faith. I asked my son Naman to immediately book the tickets, and I went to Tirupati. And we also discussed that since it is the Ketu transit, and Ketu is about hairs, and I would be shaving my head. And I went there, I did that. Although I had a very important podcast after 1 week with Times of India, but a lot of people said if you shave your head, you're going to have this podcast. How will you do? I said, no, it's my mentor, my friend who said, and Tirupati Venkateshwara, he wanted me to do it. I shaved my head, right? I said, no problem. I'll just tie a handkerchief here and I'll be fine. I did that. And so we landed at around one-ish in Tirupati. It took us around 1.5 hours to reach a center where we were supposed to get that, a slip of the VIP darshans, right? So one of a good IAS officer's family was with me, and well, the guy he went inside to get that ticket. By the time, two of my friends they said, let's have a cup of tea. So we went to a stall. And since I was traveling, I had that acid reflux in me, and I said, okay, I'll not have it. I was just standing on a side, and both of my friends they started having a cup of tea. Usually, the tea is not good in Andhra, so you better order coffee. So they had a sip. They kept the glasses. It's not good. Let us offer, let us ask for the coffee. So they started having the coffee. By that time, there's a very strong, stout, little dark in the color, he just sat just behind us and he tapped me. And I remember, Dr. Pai, you saying me that, Navneet, anyone who stops you, anyone who asks you anything, don't say no to him, right? And I remember that was in my mind all the time. And when I looked at him, and he was maybe he was not able to speak. He was dumb or something. He pretended to be like that. I don't know. He was just communicating me through his hands. He said like this, and I said, you know, is there anything I can help you with? You want something? So this guy was wearing a shirt with typical white, that dhoti, folded up, sitting behind. Very strong guy, stout guy, and I said, you want a cup of tea? Maybe I can offer you. He said, no, not good. He said, just like that. I said, okay, you want coffee? He said, no, not good. And I said, you need some money? Can I give you some money? I showed him pocket, you need some money? He said, okay, give. So I gave him 500 rupees there, right? And then he was like very happy, looking at me, smiling at me. And I said, you need more? He said, give. So there was another 200 rupees. I gave him another 200 rupees there. And then said, you need more? I said, no. He just did both his hands like this. I said, no. And then I just stood. Maybe I wanted to listen that if he wants to say something to me. So I said, you want to say something? He said, yes. I said, what? He said, this tea. He pointed at the tea and said, you, no. Means he said he was trying to say that you should never have tea again. Don't have this tea. And I said, okay, fine. Suddenly it clicked me that it's kind of a similar story. So I was mum for some time. I silently, as if, I've met Vishnu and I've said probably in a form, I just, from inside my mind, I did a namaskar to him and I just went ahead. And then after 3-4 minutes, I realized that I want to go back and see him again, that human curiosity. So I went there, he was not there, obviously he was gone somewhere. And I never told anyone, to my friends, nothing. I just, kept it with myself. And Dr. Pai, believe me, it's been, a month. I came back. I was on the medicines for 1 week more, obviously. And since now, I mean, it was such a severe IBS. I was not digesting. I was losing my weight. And a lot of people used to comment on YouTube, oh, Navneet, so you're losing weight and this, that. And trust me, it's gone. It's gone. And I was talking to you that this morning, I wanted to make this video and, I'm sipping my whey protein, right? And you can only have your whey proteins if you are fine, if you digest, in your stomach. And so this is one story that is so close to my heart. And it's all about karma theory that we have, that just 2 or 3 days ago, you had a consultation. Probably you had that consultation for me, that you need to, tell that story. And you are so, so genuine, Dr. Pai, that when I said you these things, you said, no, Navneet, I'm just a medium. It was a message of, Vishnu. But, sir, Vishnu will only choose those mediums who are worth it, who are intelligent, who deserve to become a medium, right? Everyone cannot become a medium and give you a message. So, this public announcement that I thank you from bottom of my heart, for maybe taking me out of this, maybe the things went through you to me, right? And that's what I wanted to, share with the audience and everyone here, Dr. Pai.
No, this is great, Navneet. As I said, as I mentioned to you, this is again, it is the divine. It is not about us. And there are two other things I wanted to point out about Tirupati and why Tirupati is such a, a special place. Not you. Because whenever you come to South India, if you have any issues related to malefics in your chart, especially what is the most thing that people are bothered about is your Sadesati. Okay, the 7.5 years of Shani, which whenever it is transiting the 12th or your natal moon, or from the second from the natal moon. So these three positions is Sadesati, and even Dhaya, or what we say is Kantaka Shani, which is whenever it is transiting through the eighth house, or we say you know fourth house as well from the natal moon. So these two positions, Ardhashtama, also we say Ardha Ashtama is like 4 and then 8. So these positions, whenever we go to astrologers, the Pandits in southern part of India, they always recommend that you have to visit Tirupati. Now, I was not sure at that time because why would they recommend Tirupati? And once you understood the significance of uh, Saturn's connection with Venkateshwara Swami, he's also called as Balaji. They call him Srinivasa as well. Shri Nivasa, which means that is where Lakshmi's Nivas is. Shri. So that's why he's called as Shri Nivasa. So the most astonishing thing that I figured out is he sits on the seventh hill. So there are 7 hills. It's called as Sheshachelam. Okay. And the hills have different names. There is Anjanadri, which is like Anjaneya Swami, which is Hanumanji. There is Vrashabhadri, which is the mount of Shiva, Vrashabha, which is the bull. Then Garudadri, if you are going through the mountain, you can also see a figure which looks exactly like a Garuda
Yeah, I
on
saw
the
that.
stone.
Yeah.
Yes. So that hill itself is called as Garudadri.
And there was a natural shivling also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to go through these 6 hills, and he's sitting on the 7th hill. Those people who are familiar with the local customs and traditions in Andhra and Telangana, those are the people who visit Srinivasa or Balaji on a Saturday. Saturday is the day when everybody visits him, and it's a very busy day. Because then I realized the 7 hills are like the 7 days of the week. So you start with the first hill, which is like Sunday. Then the second hill is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And you come to the 7th day of the week, which is Saturday. He is sitting on the 7th
Oh
hill.
my God, this is something I wanted to share since I didn't plan this and we never discussed this before, going there.
Yes.
Now that you're telling me, I did the darshans on Wednesday, right? And my Ketu was transiting on Virgo, right?
Okay.
Can you believe the Wednesday, the Buddhavara, right? And that the everything was coming, and I'm going through my Chaturth Dahiya as well. But on the same time, you know, it was going through that Virgo, and I did that darshan, the Venkateshwara Swami darshan on Wednesday morning. And
Wow.
I didn't plan this. Wow, thank
That's
you.
amazing. Yeah. So there you see, sometimes it is divine plan that you will, go there. And I have had a friend of mine who has been there twice to Tirupati, and he could not go inside and have the darshan. Both the times, because it's an altitude, he's diabetic, heavily diabetic, because of which, he had his head was spinning and he fell down unconscious. And then people had to take him, and so 2 times it has happened that he has gone to Tirupati and he has not had the darshan. So he says this is, yeah, that's what I want to say, that only those people who are destined will have the darshan of Balaji. So the 7th day, another thing. Now, the other thing that I will also tell you is there is a ritual in Tirupati whenever you go, is first you have to take a dip in a pond which is called a Swami Pushkarani Tirtha. That's a temple tank there. And after that, when you are in, see, usually this ritual I'm telling you is for Shiva. Anybody who's going through some incurable diseases, and this is something probably because we have spoken before this about two people who have been going through severe heart related issues, whom you know.
Yeah.
So this is message to them. If any of their family members goes to a Shiva temple on a Monday, and they have to take a dip in that place before visiting the Shiva Mandir. If there is a river, then you can take a holy dip in that river. If there is a temple pond or lake within that temple square, then there also you can take a dip. And you should be wearing white dress. Okay. And it is usually dhoti or whatever, or white kurta, whatever you want. Okay, that's fine. Once you take the dip, okay, you can take a bath towel and you can just wipe your head, but the cloth should not be changed. Wet, वैसे ही, wet dress you should go and do the puja, or you can go and bow down in front of Lord Shiva. That is the custom which is said will also remove any incurable diseases or any severity that is there, like somebody is in the ICU, somebody is very serious, then the deity is Shiva. And you can sit there inside the temple and you can do Mahamrityunjaya Japa with that wet dress. And then you will see miracles will happen. And this miracle is not done by anybody but Lord Shiva himself.
Yeah. And Dr. Pai, I also remember one thing we discussing that day, that if you have any planet which is weak and it's not giving you results, we should go to Shiva, right? He'll make that planet strong, right? Strong to a level that we can't even handle the energy, right?
Yes.
And if you have a malefic planet and troubling you in your horoscope, we ideally don't go to Shiva because he's going to make that more stronger and you can be in further trouble. But we go to Vishnu,
Exactly.
right? Because he will actually destroy that strong malefic planet or the energy of that strong malefic planet which is affecting you. And we took the examples also that there are asuras who go to Shiva, like Ravana. They take the boons from Mahadev, and the Vishnu has to come in the Ram Avatara to actually finish these asuras eventually. So, ladies and gentlemen, this theory is a very, very promising theory in the horoscope, where if you have a very strong planet, right, it's the time to connect to Vishnu if he's troubling you. But if there is a planet which is very, very weak, because of which the suffering is coming, then we need to go to Shiva. So this is a very, very simple, and very, very plain, and very effective, and guaranteed theory. Remember, Dr. Pai, we discussed about the same?
Yes, I think this is also a tradition which comes, not what I was telling. This is from the South Indian tradition of astrologers. Is what the South Indian astrologers do is when you have there are suras and asuric grahas. Like we know the what we say malefic, but I'm talking about stringent and strict planets which are there. Then you go to Vishnu. Why? Because Vishnu can reduce the strength of that planet, which is strong or malevolent, or even sometimes, you might have an exalted planet, and that can be a problem for you as well. When you have too much of a goodness, also can be a problem because you think no less of yourself. You are too much about that planet. So to reduce the impact of strong planets, go to Vishnu. If a planet is weak and you want to uplift that, because Shiva is the only god who came forward to have the halahal, the poison which came and he kept it in his throat. No other devata has come forward for that. So he can take our poison So if you some things you say is weak and it's making you weaker, then go to Shiva, because he is going to drink your poison so that you become better. So that's why Asuras never went to Vishnu for boons. They'll always go to Brahma or they will go to Shiva. The creator and the destroyer are the ones they used to go to. They never used to go to the maintainer. But it is the maintainer who has to come to bring equilibrium again. That is the same thing what Krishna says, right? Yada yadani dharmasya glanir bhavati bhara. So he's made, whenever there is injustice here, he will always keep coming back and back. He will always come every yuga. Sambhavami yuge yuge. He will come from every yuga, he will come to bring dharma here.
So, but one thing, Dr. Pai, that I've seen, in this my journey of Jyotisha, doing tons of consultations and, teaching, training, grooming students in Rudra Vedika. See, sir, it is very difficult to approach Shiva directly. He will not be approached. I mean, he will not respond to you. What has happened is that, based on my experience, you have to go through Vishnu, right? Because I think the direct access to Shiva is only, through Vishnu, because Vishnu is the one who can connect you to Mahadev. And I've seen this in my experience that a lot of Krishna devotees, who were prior, they were Shiva devotees, right? They went to Vishnu, they did all the Hare Krishna Mahamantra japas, they become Vaishnavas, and after being 5 years of 10 years of journey into Krishna consciousness, they suddenly would start getting inclination towards Mahadev, towards Shiva, right? So what I believe is that, and anyone listening to this video, you see, if you want to be close to Mahadev, the first condition is that you have to be very close to Vishnu. And to close to Vishnu, the first condition is that you have to be pure, because Vishnu is the one who has absolute sattva. There is no rajas, there is no tamas, right? Shiva has all three of them. He can have that. He can consume all three of them together and bring them to equilibrium. So that equilibrium can be only achieved by Mahadev, not even Vishnu. Vishnu cannot take rajas and tamas. He can only take sattva. But all these three at zero state is with Mahadev. That is why he becomes that omnipresent and the ultimate consciousness of this universe. And also, what I've realized is one of the statements of Neem Karoli Babaji, when you read his books, and I am a devotee of Neem Karoli Babaji. I consider him my guru. He initiated me in my, consciousness in my dreams during the time of lockdowns and COVID. Uh, he said that suppose, if you want to have a cup of milk, right, and you want to have that milk in a very tasteful way, in a pure way, the first condition is that the cup should be very, very clean, right? If the cup is not clean, you will not be able to enjoy that pure milk or a nectar which Guru or maybe Brahma or maybe Shiva or Mahadev wants to give it to you, right? So, he said ki apne cup ko saaf karo. You need to clean your cup. And when I said this thing, you need to clean your cup, means you need to be pure. You need to be sattvic. You need to clear, that thought process, that mind. And the only way you can clean your cup is Ram Nam Japa. Right? Very, very straight, very simple. No sophisticated mantras, nothing. Just say Ram. Right? The repetition of this word Ram, 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 Ram will, make your cup clean. You'll become approachable to Vishnu, and then eventually you become approachable to Mahadev. And you know what? I also realized that to get that equilibrium, actually, it is not that you have to enhance sattva. It is that you have to remove rajas and tamas. So immediately everything will be at equilibrium, right? For that also, what I figured out is the mantra that Mahadev would always sing, you know, is the Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tattulyam Nama Nama
Ramanam.
Varanam. So this is the mantra that Mahadev is singing. So when he is singing, he's chanting the mantra during his meditations, is because with this mantra, we can bring that equilibrium, right? Where you can enjoy Rajas, right? In the Kali Yuga, it is a lie if you say that we don't have a tamas. We do. Even if we say that, oh, there is that competitiveness going in between us, even that is the tamas. It is not Rajas. Rajas is when you want to be somewhere, you want to be at a level. But when you start feeling that competition, it turns into tamas. Right? So we here in Kali Yuga, we are at complete lie if we say that we don't have tamas. We do have tamas, right? We'll have to agree to that. But to bring that to equilibrium, bring that to a level, first we need to, clean our cups, right? And then, do Ram Nam, and then eventually do the Ram Rameti, and then you get connected to Mahadev and whatever planet you have, which is weak, and because of which you have tons of weaknesses, losing the strength, everything will be sorted. This is what I experienced.
No, this is very, very beautiful. There is a small verse which I would like to say. This is the connection between Shiva and Vishnu, which is Rama, Krishna, whatever, and Shiva. So this verse is Shivaya Vishnu Rupaya, Shivaya Vishnu Rupaya, Shiva Rupaya Vishnave. Shivasya Radayam Vishnu, Vishnushcha Radayam Shivaha. Which means in the Rupa of Shiva, you will find Vishnu. Shivaya Vishnu Rupaya, which means Shiva is in the form of Vishnu Rupa. And Vishnu is in the Rupa of Shiva. And Shivasya Hridayam Vishnu, which means inside the heart of Shiva, there is Vishnu. And Vishnushcha Hridayam Shivaha, which means Vishnu's Hridaya, his heart is Shiva. So that is how they are connected. They reside in each other's hearts, and they are their rupa itself is each other.
So beautifully said. And Dr. Pai, do you have any recommendations for the viewers, for people suffering in Thaya or Sarasati, right? Any Rudraksha remedies and any gemstones, if you can suggest. But to go there, but I would tell you two things that I've learned over the period of time. Usually, when people want immediate or instant remedies, right? Because I get consultations, the marriage is about to break, something in the health has gone drastically down, or something, is like immensely impossible that you see. People would write this email to me that, Navneet sir, we need an instant remedy, right? And so instant remedies, a lot of pressure on me because it's tons of your prarabdha that you've brought and then you're suffering. So I realized over the period of time that instant remedies can be two. One, going to a particular place that you suggested me, like Tirupati or maybe Mahakal or maybe, Kashi Vishwanath or Bhairav Baba. They are the instant remedies where, the energy, the aura of that place cures you, right? The second instant remedies are the charities that you give immediately, right? Suppose, during the COVID times, we did this remedies of, donating salt to the cows, which is, satin salt to the cows, which have got their breath back, right? Suddenly, we've also donated a lot of jaggery and a lot of shakkar to the cows again, which has brought their vitality back. These are some of the immediate remedies. that we have done, right? Especially when you talk about mantras and talk about, various prayers, they take a lot of time, because I mean, there's a huge difference between the, the place, the celestial energy, and our mantras, the vibrations to reach there take time, right? However, since I've been doing my Hare Krishna Maha mantras and several other mantras, my time of the reply back from that side has now reduced. Earlier, it used to take like 1 week, 10 days. Now it takes like a day or so. Probably some of my problems, I want an instant, resolution, but now it takes 15, 20 minutes, right? So that, I get the reply from the world, right? So that has reduced, but everyone cannot do so many of mantras because we've left our corporate jobs and we are completely into our sadhanas and, doing the Jyotisha. This story is not applicable to every person who's listening to this video because you can't sit for 2 hours of sadhana. I mean, if I can afford that, I don't think anyone and every can afford that. So instant remedies are going to a temple or a particular pitha or doing certain charities immediately. But if you have any more suggestions, because I remember you suggested me Dasmukhi Rudraksha, which I have it, in my neck. So I'm reading this, a 10 Mukhi, that you asked me for. So what all, I mean, if you have any other instant, things that you think in Rudrakshas or something that can really help, would really help the viewers, Dr. Pai.
Yes. I'll definitely talk. Why did I recommend Tenmukhi? See,
Yeah,
Tenmukhi is associated with Dashavatar
yeah, yeah,
of Vishnu.
yeah, yeah,
So that is the very important. And for anybody today, going and getting a Rudraksh, because it is called the teardrops of Rudra. But before I go there, I will show you something which is phenomenal. Then I will talk about Rudraksha, because there is no point of just buying a Rudraksha, but for the problem that you are facing. I have only discussed with only few of them. I will show you pictographically also. You should actually visit the temple of Shiva, which is a Jyotirlinga, and you should actually have the Rudraksha touch the Jyotirlinga and have it blessed. Only then you should wear it, is my opinion. You are on mute. You can
yeah.
unmute
I said that in one of my videos 6 months ago,
yourself.
where when you read Shiv Mahapuran, it says that you need to pick up your Jyotirlinga first, calculate it, go to your
Yeah,
Jyotirlinga, get it touched, and there's one more condition: it should not be a used Rudraksha. It should be a fresh.
exactly.
And used
Correct.
means that it's not supposed to be used by your mother, father, or someone else, and also it is not to be used by you before you go ahead and touch your Jyotirlinga and then wear it.
That's true. I agree with that. So with I would probably talk about this based on, see, there are astrological methods of identifying your Jyotirlinga, which I think there would be so many videos, and I think Navneet, you must have also done those videos in the past. Okay. Now I'm talking about if a common man who has no knowledge, who doesn't even have a Kundali, and they don't have any knowledge about Jyotish also, this knowledge can help you, what I'm going to share right now. Okay. And this can be also a very good remedy to immediately give you a quick result, if it is possible for you. Now, see, when Shiva lost Sati, she self-immolated by jumping into the, so that's why she jumped into the Daksha's, her own father's yagna. So that's why she was called as Dakshayani also, Daksha's daughter. And he took the corpse, which means the dead body of Sati, and Shiva was roaming the entire universe here and there. And finally, when he came to Bharatvarsha, he created and he went in a particular formation of Jyotirlingas. And wherever he went, that is where the Jyotirlingas started manifesting. They became Swayambhu, which means they self-manifested itself. So let me start showing you, and from that knowledge, you will see, you can then decide where you want to go. Besides the astrological technique that you already know, but I will tell you something today. Let me share the screen and show you if you can enable screen sharing for me, then I can.
You can share.
Okay, right, okay. So I'm actually, for the sake of the viewers, I'm just going to share this. And then I will reduce the size so that you will be able to see this, whatever I'm sharing. Okay, now Shiva, with the dead body of Mata Sati, he first came to Kedarnath, which is at the top. And see, all the Shivalingas, all these, what I'm showing you, is all it is called as a Pani Pitha, which means it is called as Somasundara also. Somasundara is the duct which from where the water falls and the water is drained for the Shivalinga. That all the Shivalingas are facing towards Kailash. Kailash. All of them are facing towards. So you can see he started with Kedarnath. So you can see the duct was facing this way. So somewhere, your Kailash would be somewhere here, Tibet area, okay? So he started with here. That was the first Kedarnath. Then he comes down and he goes to Baidyanath. And this is from, Google Earth. I have taken these pictures from there. Baidyanath. From Baidyanath, he goes to Rameshwaram. From Rameshwaram, he goes to Nageshwar Jyotirlinga in Dwaraka, Gujarat. From there, he goes to Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanath, Varanasi. From Varanasi, he comes down to Mallikarjuna, which is in Andhra Pradesh, Sri Shailam. From there, he goes to Somanath. And from Somanath, he goes to Mahakal, Ujjain. From there, he comes to Grishneshwar. From Grishneshwar, Triambakeshwar, Nasik. From Triambakeshwar to, this is your Omkareshwar. Okay, Omkareshwar. And finally, he comes to, this is Bhima Shankar, and finally he comes to Grishneshwar. So if you see the pattern, it is in the form of a conch shell, Vishnu's conch shell. So if you have problems with your first house, go to Grishneshwar. Grishna, because he is the mountain dweller. So then Omkareshwar for your problems related to second house, family and other things. Trayambaka means third. This is the third. Now you have to go in the reverse order. The way that he came, his path was from Kedarnath to Grishneshwar. But for problems, whatever you are facing, you have to go. This is the first house. So Grishneshwar. Second house, Omkareshwar. Third house, Triambakeshwar. Fourth house related, Bhima Shankar. See, Bhima Shankar is, if you have low courage, the natural fourth house is Cancer, where Mars goes into deep debilitation. Okay, so to be able to uplift your Mars, then you can go here. Then Mahakal, right? This is a different system, and I'll show you the other system also, which is, based on the Rashi chart also. So after you finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Mahakal. So fifth house is where Surya's Multrikona, which is the natural Leo sign, Simha Rashi. So if you want to strengthen your sun, then go to Mahakaleshwar. Although people say Mahakaleshwar, you go for Saturn, but I feel it is sun, because Shiva is in the form of sun. Sixth if you are facing anything related to your stomach as a sixth house, Somanath, visit Somanath. Seventh house, marriage, other problems, Mallikarjuna, because they are all connected to different avatars also. So the Saptarishis actually went here and they worshipped. Here is also the Shadripus. If you want to overcome your Shadripus, 6 vices, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, you go to Somanath. If you have childlessness and you want child, then you go to Mahakaleshwar. Okay, this is connected to the Panch Mahabhutas, the 5 great elements. If you want to get the blessings of higher education, knowledge, then go to Bhima Shankar because it's the 4th. So what is 4? The 4 Vedas, the 4 faces of Brahma. Okay, like that. So Trayambaka is the 3 eyes of Shiva, Trinetra. Okay, so the Saptarishis have worshipped Mallikarjuna. Then, this is the 8th house. Do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? So what is 8th house? Longevity and death. And you see, everybody who wants to die will go to only Kashi. We have the 2 biggest ghats, which is Manikarnika Ghat there and Harishchandra Ghat. So they are always burning. People just go to Kashi so that they can die there. Because anybody who dies in Kashi will not come back. They have got mukti. That is what the belief is, right? So it is connected to your 8th house related issues, whatever you are feeling. Some incurable diseases, long-standing, incurable diseases, you can go to Kashi Vishwanath. And there you can take, see, Varanasi. It was based, the Varanasi name comes from 2 rivers, which are, one is Assi, other is Varuna. Varuna and Assi, Varanasi. So there is Assi Ghat also, if you go and, people go there. So after that, 9th, Nageshwar. If you have problems, Pitru doshas, and serpent related problems that are there, which is coming from lineage, from your Pitris, then you go to Nageshwar. Right? And then this is where, if you want to get blessings of where, even Sri Ram has worshipped this linga, which is from he's prepared it from the Wraith, which means on the beach. Right? So this is all related to your 10th house. So the Dasha Avatara Swarupa of Vishnu in where they are worshipped is this place, Rameshwar. So this is a place where there are also so many lakes, temple ponds and lakes from where people take bath to help your ancestors move forward in their life. For manifestation of any of your desires that are pending, 11th house, by the Nath. And finally, to help you, go to the higher realms, because this is the highest point of a Shivalinga, which is Kedarnath. Now, this is what I wanted to say. This is a very unique formation which is there, which is in the form of a conch shell. Why I showed you that is, I was also wanting to show you the actual thing is here, which is about the Jyotirlinga. So if you have problems related to Aries, where sun gets exalted, you go to Rameshwar. Second is Taurus, where moon gets exalted, Somanath. Then the third, Gemini, Mithuna Rashi, Nageshwar, Rahu gets exalted in Nageshwar. So you go there. Then Omkareshwar, which is Cancer. Cancer is where Jupiter gets exalted. That's why it's Omkareshwar. Baidyanath, Leo. Mallikarjuna, Virgo. Mahakal. See, Mallikarjuna is where Mercury gets exalted in Virgo. Then Mahakal, Saturn gets exalted in Libra. Then Grishneshwara. Then Kashi Vishwanath for Sagittarius. So Kashi is also will activate as soon as you go to Kashi, your Sagittarius is activated, your 8th house is activated. If you go to Grishneshwar, your first house will be activated, your Scorpio sign will be activated in your chart as soon as you visit there. Right? Then Capricorn, Bhima Shankar. Then 11th sign is Aquarius, Kedarnath. And finally, Pisces is Trambakeshwar. So this is the normal what people know, because Trambakeshwar is where Venus gets exalted in Pisces, the sign of Pisces. So this is the entire system of Jyotirlinga that I have explained to you, and the formation is in the formation of a conch shell. If you go in this order and visit all the Jyotirlingas, you have come through the same way that Shiva had come with the Sati. And then what happens? Vishnu takes his Sudarshana chakra and he 52 pieces of her body fell and they become the Shakti Pithas. Isn't it?
You know what, Dr. Pai, when I was reading, researching on Shiv Mahapuran, and I also teach my students Shiv Mahapuran, we have a specific, course for it. What I realized is the differentiation that you explained right now about the Jyotirlingas that are Rashi based and the Jyotirlingas that are Bhava based. So I have that differentiation when and how do we use it. You see, in a horoscope, there is only one chart which is known as Rashi chart. There's no other chart you will call it as a Rashi chart, which is your Lagna Kundli. That whenever you have problems with what you are experiencing is your Lagna Kundli, the environment which you are thrown because of your prarabdha, right? And the environment in which you are thrown because of the prarabdha, that prarabdha, the net prarabdha, is seen from the D60 chart, which is your Shashti Amsha. If I have to define Shashti Amsha, I would define it is net total of all your curses and blessings. Any curse that you have in Shashti Amsha, maybe a Kala Sarpa or maybe a Guru Chandala or any curse, you name it, you have it there. That means that from whatever journey your soul has gone through, in maybe 5,000 births or 10,000 or 84 or 86 lakh births or whatever, you have not been able to come out of that curse. Even if, Brahma is giving you opportunities every 70, 80 years, giving you a new life, that particular curse is carried on. Now, you keep this curse, it's a very huge curse, you keep it on the parking lot, and then there are certain problems that you've created yourself by that 10% free will in this Rashi chart also. Maybe the immediate previous birth or during your negotiation, with Chitragupta while taking a new life, you have created some problems for yourself that, okay, I'll manage this thing, but you give me this thing, right? So when you have problems with your environment, when you have problems with the things that you are experiencing, to reduce the potency of that experience, which is a bad experience, you go to the Jyotirlingas that are Rashi based. But if you want to clear that, curse that you have in your D60, which is coming from so many of your births, you go to Jyotirlingas that are Bhava based. Because eventually D60 is also a chart of moksha, right? Because either you get moksha or you get D60. There are only two conditions. There's no third condition, right? From the D60, then everything begins, right? And that is why the planet Ketu is the Karaka of D60. He's the one. And for the BTRs, we always check this one condition at the last stage, is that ideally D60 changes between 2 minutes. But there is one condition that can change in D60 within 48 seconds is that the dispositor of the Ketu in the D60 should make a sambandha with the lagna of D60. Only then you got the lagna of D60. Otherwise, you didn't get the lagna of D60. So suppose my Ketu is in Pisces, then either Jupiter should be in the lagna of D60 or Jupiter should have a graha drishti on the lagna of the D60. So Ketu becomes the Karaka. Ketu is the moksha, Dwara. He's the final person. You see, okay, you got approval from Saturn, you got approval from Jupiter. Okay, all the planets have signed the NOCs. Okay, let me check the final. Okay, 000. Okay, no D60 for him. He gets the liberation. Right? But Rashi Jyotirlingas are what we are experiencing, the pain to reduce. It's like an anesthesia. It's like a pain. But going to the Bhava based Jyotirlingas are actually going to cure your curses. Whatever curses you have, which is from the experience of the soul, maybe in thousands of the births, they are seen in the D60. And that those curses can be cured only through we should look at the bhava based Jyotirlingas from the D60 itself. So go to D60, check, okay, my first bhava, does it have a curse? Okay, or not? Then the second bhava, then the third bhava. And if you have curses in the sixth house, as you said, Somanath, all your Shadripus. So Shadripus are of two categories. One, what we have in this birth. One, those Shadripus that we are carrying from thousands of the births, which is seen in the sixth house of D60. And that is why for the final liberation, and you know what, we are born because of the sixth house, not because of any other house in the horoscope. Our birth is directly proportional to in the sixth house, what we've done on the daily basis. And that was the reason that Krishna went to Somanath for the final liberation. That he said, okay, after this, I'm not coming easily. I'll see when I come. After this, I'll not come. Right? So that final liberation from his avatars also, he went to Somanath. So that's what I researched,
This is fantastic. What you're saying also, it makes a lot of sense, because Somanath is one place where Chandra himself has worshipped Shiva there.
Yeah.
And then it is believed that he had created the temple there was built in gold initially.
Yeah.
Then Krishna rebuilt it
Yes.
in later on during his times.
Yeah.
And then we know the history of Somanath.
Yeah.
That Muhammad Ghazni has come and plundered it 18 times.
Yeah.
18 times. And just think about it. He would come all the way from Afghanistan, plunder, go back, and again start with the next expedition. Because if he has come 18 times, which means by that time people have rebuilt the temple and they have again put all the things. So that means there is a renewal that is constantly happening in Somanath, which means they see, just think about it. You have plundered the temple, you have taken all the wealth, and when he comes again, the wealth is replenished there again. He will again plunder it, take it. So he must be wondering what kind of a people these are. I plunder and I go. They should have they should have moved the site somewhere else, so that he will not. The next time he comes, he'll feel disappointed. No, they said this is this place. This is where we will reconstruct, we will rebuild, we will re-establish, we'll put it in the same thing. It doesn't matter. Let them come and take. He's only taking the resources, but it is never going to deplete the energies of that place.
And Dr. Pai, when I was researching on Somanath, and you've used the word 18 times. So what is 18? 18 years is the Mahadasha of Rahu, right? So he was like Rahu to the Chandra, right? Coming, and he did exactly 18 times, right? Which is very correct information. So this remedy, one of the major remedies for Rahu. If Rahu will trouble anyone, everyone. Even if he gives you wealth, he will take it away, right? Just like this. So if you have any problems with Rahu, you remember then we were in Vrindavan, we did some small activity together, right? is to give something in the construction or the renovation of a temple, right? Is one of the major remedies of Rahu. It's one of the major remedies of Rahu. And this, Dr. Pai has worked for, I think, thousands of my followers with my clients that, they were in serious trouble, Rahu in the Lagna, getting into divorces and problems and illusions and, mindset where you are in a different world all the time. You think that you are from a different, nobody can, hit you back. Nothing can be there. So you go and put some of your efforts, money, into renovation of a temple. If you are, well off, build a temple, right? And, that's where a lot of things would be sorted in life, especially pertaining to Rahu. Yeah.
No, this is very fascinating. Whatever you're saying, every little thing, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah.
One piece at a time. You get these pieces and we start then seeing the complete picture.
Right.
So, yeah, beautiful
Well,
explanations,
yeah. Thank you,
Navneet ji.
Dr. Pai, for being and, gracing my channel. Right. Your presence is like a divine friend. I mean, we learned so much, from each other. I mean, what we think is that we should also not become teachers and gurus to this entire Jyotish community because we still are students. But I would want that, we should all become like divine friends, where we can talk about divinity, we can talk about all these things, and I hope to have much more videos, going forward. And thank you so much, for your time,
Thank
for
you.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Navneet ji.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Hare Krishna.